Good afternoon. This is Rod Santo Massimo of the Massimo Group, and welcome to the Massimo Minute. And this month we have a special guest with us to discuss the Tampa, Florida marketplace. And that guest is Mr. Eric Odum of Lease Commercial Advisory. Eric, welcome.
Hey, Rod. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you very much. In this format, Eric, just for our audience, we take a quick 5 minutes to get a download of both what's going on in the marketplace and what are commercial brokers specifically doing today to not only survive but thrive in that marketplace. And I know you're doing some particular things, but first off, tell me about Tampa, Florida. What's going on in the Tampa, Florida marketplace in your particular focus niche?
Well, as you know, obviously it's been pretty bleak here over the last couple of years. I mean, we were one of the hardest hit markets in the country, due primarily to the downturn in the residential construction market. Of course, I think Tampa really began to realize how closely tied it was to the construction market because the vacancies have shot up through the roof. Now, I do primarily net lease investments. My roots are in Section 1031 exchanges. Of course, what's happened is there are no more Section 1031 exchanges because there's no more capital gains. I mean, we're in a deflationary environment right now. And so the Section 1031 business dried up for me, and it was a matter of, do you adapt or do you just go away and find something else to do? Well, I've decided to find something inside of the real estate business to try to diversify and survive, because I do think this is a market about survival. So okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, no, if I might. So that's a great point. You know, we find, especially with our clients across the country, that a lot of them are doing more we call focused diversification. Because let's face it, if you just focus on investment sales in many markets across the U.S., with the velocity issues happening, liquidity issues, and the like, you're going to have a really hard time surviving. So I appreciate your stance as far as diversifying your offerings. Let me ask you, when you say you're diversifying your offerings, what are you doing right now that's working? I'm sure a lot of this is a best practice call. What are you doing right now that's working?
Well, you know, it's all about exposure, and it's all about getting your name and your face out there in the local market. I didn't have the advantage of working in the local market because my properties, my investments were all over the state and really all over the country. So what I've done and what I've been pretty good at in my past life as a marketing person, I spent a lot of time in marketing, is getting placement on websites and SEO work. So my internet is generating about 7 to 8 leads a week, and a significant portion of my business is coming off of internet. But I haven't stopped investing. I speak to so many brokers, they've stopped investing in their business. I haven't stopped investing. I continue to mail postcards out. I continue to beat the streets. I continue to go out and do advertising. I'm just spending smarter now than I was probably 3 or 4 years ago. And the internet, of course, is one of those marketing systems that works even when you're sleeping. You get leads at 9 and 10 o'clock at night, and you wake up in the morning and, you know, lo and behold, you might have a customer. So that's what I've been doing, what's been working. And we've been dealing primarily in the office and retail markets. Locally. Okay,
so I heard a lot of great things there. First of all, I heard you continue to invest in yourself, and yes, all top performers like you, Eric, are always investing in themselves, investing in their real estate business. But also I heard you say you haven't stopped prospecting. I think that's, people think, and here we always talk about presence, having market presence. But prospecting and presence certainly are complements. They work with one another. So you create the system of both prospecting but creating a presence, which I know is paramount. So I know someone's going to ask, how the heck is he generating, specifically, Eric, we got about a minute and a half left, so I want to leave the audience with some kudos here, some little things we could share. What specifically are you doing, I mean, really, to generate 7 solid leads a week to your business, especially when you're sleeping? Tell us exactly. Is it Twitter? Is it Internet? Is it Facebook? I mean, the audience wants to know, what are you doing?
Well, you know, first and foremost, I think we are of the mindset that everybody knows what we do. Our friends and family know what we do. They really don't. So Twitter, this is where Twitter and Facebook would come in. You want to make sure you don't want to overwhelm them all the time with discussions of business, but you do want to drop a hint every 3 or 4 posts that you have that, yeah, I am in the business, and if anybody's looking, send them my way. So I have gotten some referrals from my friends and family, and those are the most solid ones. The other way is your website, your web presence. Build a website and build make it specialized into whatever your niche is. You'd be surprised if you handle office space in, let's say, the West Shore submarket of Tampa. Start a blog that talks about everything that's happening in the West Shore submarket, and you would be surprised at how much traffic that will actually lead to. And if you're functioning in the West Shore submarket of Tampa, you really don't care about what's happening in Orlando, or don't really care necessarily about what's happening in Lakeland or Plant City. So don't write about those things. Only write about what's happening. Become an expert in your niche, and it will generate leads. Your rankings will increase, and just it's all about continuing being consistent and persistent in posting and writing. That happens. Google really likes current content. So as long as you have current content and it's specific to your niche, you'll get high rankings.
Okay, Eric, let me ask you one last question, because I know a lot of people listening in here, they may say, I have not heard of Net Lease Commercial Advisory. So first question, just quickly give me your website so they can take a look at what you're doing.
Sure, it's www.floridatriplenet.com.
Okay, great. And the last thing I got to ask you, because I fair to say you're a boutique firm, and you're in you're a major market, well, secondary market, not a prime, but still a major market like Tampa Bay with Pinellas County, Hillsborough, Pasco, and I think it's Polk. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. How are you competing against the big boys? CBRE's there, Cushion's there, everyone's there that I'm aware of in Tampa Bay. So how are you competing as a boutique firm?
It's tough, Rod. I'm not going to lie. I mean, obviously the larger firms, the Grubb and the CBREs, they have access to national tenants that I'm not ever going to get access to. But frankly, in my niche, which is Florida, which is triple net properties, I don't need to have that big flag outside my front door. I'm capable of doing that on my own. Where it becomes a challenge is in the rental market and the tenant representation market locally. But what makes it the great equalizer is my marketing efforts. I believe that I've set up superior systems in order to cast a net out there, and I have not had any issues in dealing with those local tenants in the local market. Where I miss on is probably in the national tenant that might be relocating here. But frankly, there's not a lot of that going on in Tampa right now. So I think I'm as competitive as anybody right now. And we've sprung together several good months. I feel like I've finally found the light switch.
Well, Eric, we really appreciate your time. It's Eric Odum with Net Lease Commercial Advisory, and again, that website was www.floridatriplenet.com. Eric, I appreciate your time. Until next time, this is Rod Santo Massimo with the Massimo Minute. Talk to you soon.